Maybe you're new to our podcast, or maybe you've been following our YouTube channel for years, and you may be wondering, who is Delaney? Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to share with you the truth behind Travels with Delaney and how we started our channel and how we ended up here doing a podcast. And we're going to be talking about it right now in Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Hey everyone, my name is Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And we are so glad you found us, regardless of which audio platform you may be listening to us, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube. We try to post most of these on YouTube for our YouTube followers. And Patty, this morning I am drinking a cup of tea.
I know. What's up with that?
I know. It's a little out of character for me, isn't it?
Usually you're coffee man.
I know. So lately, I have just been enthralled with British culture.
Right. I know.
I know. In fact, I am wearing the jacket you bought me a few years ago, my Travels with Delaney jacket.
I bought it from Great Britain. I forget the company, but they did a good job with it.
And one of the things I've noticed about this is it zips opposite
of what probably others do, don't they?
Yeah, what the others do. And I'm curious, either you bought me a lady's jacket.
No.
Or maybe in England, their zippers are on the opposite side of. Well, I mean, they drive on the opposite side.
They
so
do.
Maybe,
honey, this is a men's jacket. I bought you a man's jacket. I have an itch.
Okay, and so yeah, and most people might think, well, oh, you're just all into British culture now because of the whole Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, or maybe with the Queen passing away and King Charles. And the truth is, it's none of that.
Nope.
And contrary to what Lawrence from the Brazen Brits think, it's not that I have a man crush on him. But no, I have really been into British culture because back before the holidays, I found a YouTube channel. And it's always interesting how YouTube will just serve up different things periodically. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure how I ended up. But I ended up on a channel called Hannah Ricketts.
Yeah, it's a young lady.
Yeah, it ended up being that's just her name.
Yeah.
And she lives in London. And her videos are just taking you around the city.
Right.
I mean, she, during the holidays, she was showing you all the lights in the city, all the Christmas decorations, the window displays.
Right.
She goes to department stores, grocery stores. She'll take you out to dinner with her.
Right, museums or going to get her hair done, walking through a park.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating to me just to see how somebody, let's say in London, lives. And I love picking up on like different words. Like she doesn't call the subway a subway; she calls it
the tube.
The tube.
Uh-huh.
And
grocery cart is a trolley.
A trolley. Tennis shoes are trainers.
Trainers.
And then just some of the fun words, like she'll say, "Oh, today we're going to go have a cheeky drink."
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I have just been obsessed. So what I ended up doing was she has went several times to a big department store that primarily focuses on food and kitchen and stuff called Fortnum and Mason.
It's
and
huge.
They have their own teas. Mm-hmm. And so I actually ordered Fortnum and Mason tea from England. It had to go through customs to get to us. And it was a 120 count. So I have all these different blends. And I actually am really enjoying drinking tea right now.
Well, I was afraid to open it. It was so pretty.
I know. It
display.
Was a gorgeous box.
Goodness.
Now, it was, I mean, I don't know if it's common in England to drink using the tea bags versus the loose leaf. I did go with the tea bags versus the loose leaf. But I think it tastes pretty good. So this morning, my beverage of choice is a Irish breakfast tea.
There you go.
And you would be drinking?
I have Gatorade.
Gatorade. Good old American Gatorade.
Yep, that's what I have.
So it's not uncommon for me to get an email that starts off, "Dear Mr. Delaney."
Yeah.
Nor is it uncommon for us in the summer when we're out traveling to be walking through a campground or be in a store and have somebody shout out, "Hey, it's the Delaneys."
Yeah.
And so a lot of people over the years have assumed that our last name is Delaney.
And we've joked, maybe we should change our last name to Delaney.
Yeah. I've said, like, maybe if we had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
That's what we should do.
But we're going to tell you who Delaney actually is, because, no, we are not the Delaneys.
No.
We're the McCormicks.
Yep.
And I don't think there's any name change in our near future.
No.
So we started our YouTube channel officially
in
June of 2017.
Yep.
what a lot of people, if you look at our YouTube, I think maybe they put a date on for people to see. I think it goes way back to like 2013. Because
Yeah, you were playing around with it.
Well, I just, like many people,
Yeah.
you sign up for an account on YouTube because you're going to watch and you want to be able to save favorites
Sure.
and things like that. And in the beginning, I didn't post. I was just watching. And then periodically, I started playing around with uploading little family videos.
Yeah, you called them trailers.
Yeah, because I remember when we first switched over to Macs from PCs, you had iMovie, which you can still get, and there was an option to make a movie trailer, and you just inserted some video clips or family photos, and it would make these cute little movie trailers.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that for a while, and I even made a couple long family videos from vacations.
Right.
And then at some point, I started watching YouTube a little more regular.
Right.
Not looking for the random, funny clip, kind of like today's version of TikTok, but started watching to where, I realized, like, oh, there's actually channels. Like, people post on a regular basis. And we've talked about this in a prior podcast, but, some of those early podcast or YouTube channels were things like Sticks Blog and Syntax 77.
And I don't remember the name of those girls that went hiking that we watched.
No.
That encouraged us. Actually, they were kind of the inspiration for us to go hiking. But
and that was our early, kind of introduction to YouTube. So we were doing some backpacking at the time, and so I started making some backpacking videos. And I think those videos are still on our channel. I think I might have put them into like a backpacking playlist or something.
I think people have seen them, yeah.
And not a lot. I mean, and at that time it wasn't. I wasn't thinking channel or anything. It was I was just playing around, making videos and posting them, seeing if anybody would watch them.
Right.
And then somehow we found like YouTube channels.
Right.
And early on it was,
Gone with the Winds.
Gone with the Winds, I think might have been the first one.
Right.
And the Dupreys. You remember the Dupreys, Ross and Heather.
Yep.
And so
the Norps that we still watch.
And the Norps. And then
Norp
eventually we found KYD. We found KYD just as they were selling their house, right at the very beginning.
Right at the beginning.
And Less Junk, More Journey.
Right.
Okay, everybody finds those two big ones.
Yeah.
But so in June of 2017, we were headed out west for, I think, a 3-week trip.
Yep.
And I said to Patty, I think I'm going to film and try to make some videos like these other YouTube channels.
Okay, yeah.
And so the day we left, I started filming on my iPhone, filmed all day long on the drive to get to Iowa. That was our first stop. Mm-hmm. And during the drive, I said to Patty, or I guess it was right before we left, I said, I think we have to have a channel name. Like at that point, it just said Patrick McCormick. On the YouTube account.
Yeah, so we were trying to think what we could do.
And I said, you know what nobody's doing is nobody is specifically focusing on traveling with their pets.
Right.
And we had been traveling with our pets for quite a while and felt like we were pretty good at it.
Yeah, I thought so.
And so I said, what about, because I had seen some channels called like Travels With, but it was always like Travels with Susan.
Right.
Where it was the person in the video. I said,
not a pet, yeah.
I said, how about Travels with Delaney?
And Delaney was our Cocker Spaniel at the time.
That's right. At the time we had one dog, Delaney, American Cocker Spaniel, purebred.
And she was a party color mix, they call that, with the white and buff. And she was beautiful. So she was our pet.
Yeah.
She was our baby.
And that's who Delaney is. Delaney was our Cocker Spaniel. And the whole premise of the channel
was to be,
we're going to show you how to travel with your pets in your RV. And our philosophy was, if Delaney can't go, then we don't go.
Right.
That was what
that was how it was.
Yeah, that was just how it was. We never boarded any of our dogs and never have and never will. That's just our choice. We don't fault anybody who does, but we just don't.
I just can't do it. Yeah.
We don't have children, and we treat them as if they were our children.
They're our babies.
That's
right.
So we head out first day. We get to our campsite. I cook dinner. We're laying in bed, and I'm like playing with iMovie. I think that's what. Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. And I'm just throwing these clips in, and I found some free music on somewhere. And I'm like, oh, I got a video made. It was like, I want to say that first video is maybe 5 minutes long.
Yeah, something like that.
And I said, I guess I might as well go ahead and post it. I knew nothing about thumbnails. I knew nothing about titles. I knew nothing about posting time. So I upload it, and I said, okay, let's see if anybody watches it. And, oh my gosh, when you go back and watch those early episodes.
It's hard to watch.
For us, it is. And I think for most of our viewers, it's hard to watch because the audio quality is horrible. Because the music is super loud and it just loops. It just kept playing the same song all the way through.
Right, it never stopped.
It never stopped.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, the next day we get up, I start filming. And that night, I have
another video.
I have another one done. Now, I never went into that trip thinking we were going to do a video a day. I think I was thinking we'd do like one video a week.
Right.
And short of it is, we were gone for 21 days. We ended up with 21 consecutive videos.
You put one up every day.
Every day for 21 days.
Yeah.
When we started that, when we started the channel, we had like 16 subscribers. I don't know where they came from. It could have been just somebody who stumbled upon one of our hiking videos and hit subscribe. It could have been a family member.
I think it was some lake friends.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you watch episode 1, and you can find that first series, it's in a playlist called Going West. That's the very start of Travels with Delaney. And I say to Patty in one of the first episodes, I don't know if it was 1 or 2, I said, how many subscribers would we like to have at the end of this trip?
Yeah.
And your response was?
17.
17. And remind you, we were already at 16. And
I just thought, get one more. Woohoo!
Yeah.
We can
and
do
I
that.
said, well, I think we can do better than that. And I set a goal of 50.
Yeah.
And at the end of that 21-day trip, we were not at 50.
No. Not close.
I don't even remember what we were at, but we had not picked up.
Well, and I remember then after that trip, we went to a family reunion on the East Coast, and your cousin was going to everyone at the family reunion. Have you subscribed yet?
Yeah.
You got to subscribe.
Jackie was working it.
You need to subscribe.
Jackie was literally working it, trying to get us to 50.
Well, she wanted to get you to 100.
Yeah,
like, we can do better than 50.
Yeah, we can do better than 50. We can get you to 100.
Yeah.
And but that's who Delaney is. It's our Cocker Spaniel, and that is how we started. Now, I don't think when we left here on that trip that we were thinking YouTube channel, like we're going to run it as a YouTube channel.
No.
It was more, we just want to share our travels with our family and friends, and I liked playing around with video.
Right.
And then, as Patty said, when we got home, we basically headed right back out on a week or week and a half because we had a family reunion out in Maryland. And so we filmed that and posted it.
Yeah.
And then when we got home, it was time to go back to school. And I remember thinking, like,
how can
we keep this going? Because I'm kind of having fun making videos.
Yeah.
And so I started looking for things that we could film. Oh, and by the way, I should say, after that 21 days or somewhere in there in the beginning, we ended up getting a comment from somebody saying, I thought this channel, because apparently we had said this in the early videos, I thought this channel was supposed to be about traveling with your pets. I really haven't seen much about your pets other than she's with you.
Yeah, we're like, you're right.
and I think we both decided early on that we weren't going to travel enough because we have to work.
Right.
That we could sustain a channel that focused on traveling with your pets.
Right.
And the other thing is, when you travel in an RV, there's not a lot to show because your pet's always welcome. And it's not like if we were flying places and we were finding like hotels where we could say, hey, the Hampton Inn in Lake Buena Vista allows pets, or whatever. And so by fall, and the fact that we weren't traveling, our focus of the channel shifted from, pet travel to I think it said something on our screen page or our home page of YouTube. I think it said something like RV, log cabin living, and pets or something. I don't know. I think we had that. And so we're gonna have this channel that was gonna focus on 3 things: pets, RVing, and log cabin living. And for those of you that don't know, that maybe again have found our podcast and are not familiar with our YouTube channel, we live in a 1,400 square foot split log home in Indiana, Northeast Indiana, which is not the place you would expect to find this. And so that fall, I was making. Do you remember some of the crazy videos we made?
Golly.
We did some cooking videos, if you remember.
Right.
In fact, one of the videos is popular every year from about the week before Thanksgiving till the week of Christmas.
Your grandmother's cranberry salad.
Cranberry salad. I made my grandmother's cranberry salad, turned it into a video. I remember doing a salmon recipe.
Yeah, you did.
Those videos.
On those planks, yeah.
On cedar planks, yeah. And we found out early on.
Yeah, no.
Nobody really wants cooking. We did. We tried just some like around the house type stuff, like showing what it's like to live in a log cabin.
Right.
And then we realized, like, again, we're not off grid. We're not there just wasn't enough of log cabin. We did some decorating. You remember when we showed people how
we made the swags and things at the holiday?
Yeah, to decorate the house with.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, that first winter, we were all over the place. And again, it was mainly because it was the school time.
Right.
And we couldn't
you
travel.
Can't travel, yeah.
So fast forward then. So remember, we started in June 2017. In, I think, mid-January, we get an email from YouTube saying we changed our policy on monetization.
Yeah.
And at that point, I don't even think we had been paid.
No.
Because prior to that, I think everyone was monetized. And but you have to get $100 before they'll pay you. So we just didn't have the views at that point. But it said, if you don't meet our new requirements by, I think it was the end of February.
Or sooner.
February 28th or something.
Yeah.
And the requirement was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Well, we had the watch time. That actually was not an issue for us.
Right. It was subscribers.
Yeah. And I want to say we were at, I think when we received that email, I think we were at around 750 subscribers, and I said to Patty, I said, well, we're going to get demonetized. And the way they made it sound was like you have to reapply. And
right.
I was thinking,
all this paperwork.
Yeah, now we know that basically everybody gets monetized once they hit that. So I had a couple things that happened. Number one, we had purchased our Tab 400 over Christmas.
Yep.
And then the other thing that happened was when we got home from Florida that year, for some reason, Indiana decided it was going to be spring for 1 week.
Yeah.
And we had beautiful weather here, sunshine, and I went outside and I filmed a video called 5 Essential Items for All New RVers. And the idea was, because I know sometimes these dealerships, somebody who's never owned an RV before, when you go in, not all dealerships, but some.
They try to sell you everything.
Yeah, like, oh, you're going to need this.
You need this, you need this, you need this.
And I said, I'm tired of seeing people getting taken advantage of, because at that point we were starting to get some emails and things where people were buying their first RV and they're like, yeah, the dealer told me you have to have a patio mat, so we spent $80 for this patio mat at the dealer. And I'm like, you do not need a patio mat.
No.
That's
your choice. Yeah.
And so I put out this video. And then the other video I put out was a tour of our 2018 New Camp Tab 400.
Right.
Those two videos, for whatever reason, mid-January, took off like no video we had ever had.
Yeah.
And by, I think it was the first week of February, we hit 1,000 subscribers.
We did. It was crazy.
In fact, I ended up getting a phone call from my nephew, Alex, who at the time was at IU.
Right.
In college, and he calls me and he says, congratulations. And I go, and I remember I was making the bed upstairs, and I go, on what? And he goes, your channel just hit 1,000 subscribers. Like, he was so excited. Him and his dorm mate had been following it.
Right.
And so I'd logged on. I'm like, oh my gosh, we did it. And we've never looked back, really.
No.
I mean, we've just continued to grow. Now, over the years,
it's evolved.
It really has evolved. Obviously, you don't really see any log cabin type stuff on our channel. You see Truman and Bess, our current dogs.
Yeah.
But we don't really do much. Every now and then we put out a very specific pet video, but nobody watches them.
No, that's why we don't do it.
Which is always odd when you think about it.
You would think, because there's a channel we watch that they're big. And they're just about dogs. Yeah,
but I think the key is, well, number one, I think in YouTube world, you have to figure out what your audience, your current audience is watching for. And they're strictly a dog channel.
They are, and they started that way.
Yeah, where everybody associates us with RVs now versus, And but what I think always is shocking is there is such a large percentage of RVers that travel with their pets.
There are.
You would think by putting up a pet video, they would be interested to know. So
I guess not.
So eventually, and I don't remember when it was, we ended up dropping the log cabin living
Right.
and the traveling with pets, and we just kind of became all about RVs.
Living your life to the fullest.
Living your life. Yeah, I think I started saying that, like, we're your channel all about RVing and living your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of morphed into a little bit more. We don't say it every video,
No.
but ultimately what we're just trying to do on Travels with Delaney is we've been RVing now for over 17 years.
Yes.
Made a lot of mistakes. Had a lot of frustrations.
Yeah.
And so we have just really tried to share our story to help others out, because I figure if I learned something and I could help somebody else out by sharing that information, that's really what we try to do.
Well, and we're not full time, so that's a different scenario too for some folks. So how to do that?
Yeah, that has been a challenge because, and that's one of the reasons our channel has struggled in recent years with
we're
growth.
not full time. Yeah.
It used to be we could, or we do travel in the summer months, so we would put out all these videos from summer travel. So we would attract an audience that wanted to follow RV travel, and then when fall and winter comes, we can't travel as much. So now we're putting out more educational. Well, and what we found is the people who want our entertainment, what I call entertainment, the travel videos,
Right.
they don't necessarily want the educational stuff. The people who come for the educational stuff don't want the travel stuff. And so it's like a ping pong match where we gain, we lose, we gain, we lose.
It's probably just confusing.
It's very
people.
confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we watch channels, when they put out something that's out of the normal,
Right.
we're always like, oh,
What?
okay, I don't.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've tried to do over this past year is we really have not shown much in the way of travel. We went much heavier on the, I guess you would call it, educational side.
Or telling a story.
Or telling a story. And this year what we're going to do is kind of mix it up to where, you'll have a couple what I can call educational videos where, it's like the ones we've just recently put out. I consider the IKEA video somewhat educational, helping people know that you can go to IKEA. There's some nice stuff there that you could get for your RV.
Right.
Or our 5 awesome RV accessories that we've done now like 3 years in a row. But then on the day that we're actually recording this, we just had a video go live. That is a new type of video that we're going to be doing once a month, and it's in the style of a vlog.
Right. It's kind of replacing what we would do at our midweek update kind of thing, where we just jibber jabber about our week. But now we're going to try and put it to video with visual and take you like with us on the things that we want to share with you. And it's going to be like once a month. I think that's what we thought.
Yeah, we said once a month. Yeah, because we used to, and for those of you that may be not familiar with how our channel used to be, in the beginning, we were doing these every Wednesday or Thursday called Midweek Update, which was literally Patty and I sitting here in the house. Jibber-jabbering about what had happened over the course of the last week.
At school, with the puppies. Yeah.
And we did that for, I don't know, a couple years.
Time.
And what we found was they didn't get a lot of views on our channel. There were some people, and some of you listening might still have loved those. But we ended up moving them to a second channel called TWD Life, and they've been over there now for probably 2 years.
Right.
But unfortunately, those videos, initially when we moved them over there, they were getting 700 views maybe on average. The last few, I say the last few, probably the last few months, they were down to maybe 200 to 300 views was all. And so we just said, maybe it's time for a change, mix it up. And the other thing is, we both have crazy schedules right now, till May with work. And so I said, let's get rid of the midweek update. But people, I think there's a audience that still would like to hear what's going on in our lives, but we really don't have enough to talk about every week.
No, we don't.
And then I said, but I want a new format. I don't want to do the midweek update anymore.
Right.
We're
going to try this. Yeah.
I know there's a few of you listening that are going to go like, but we love doing the intro.
Midweek update.
And I have hated that for so long. and I know you guys are thinking, but I guess it's no different. I was watching a video the other day where Rick Astley was saying he hated his song "Never Gonna Give You Up." He got to where he hated it.
Yeah.
And
someone else.
And I'm like, how could you hate it? It made you famous.
It's like Jimmy Buffett. We heard about him, a little story about him. He hated the song "Cheeseburger in Paradise." He got to where he just hated it.
And so that's kind of where we are. Even though it was good for us, you get to a point where you do it so many times, you're just like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do this vlog. where hopefully we'll give you an update once a month on what's
Yep.
going on. But as opposed to us just sitting in the house and talking about, we're going to take you along for a day when we're out
Right.
and about and integrate it. And, I think channels have to evolve. And
I think you have to, because I think you as a person evolve, and then you learn as you go, and then you figure out exactly what you want to do, and then plus you get bored. You need something different.
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree. So that's kind of brings hopefully up to speed. I know original point of this was to answer who is Delaney, and
Yep.
I think we've done that.
Our beautiful Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah. Who? We didn't finish the story.
What's that?
That Delaney. So we started in June of 2017.
Yeah.
In January 2018, we lost Delaney,
To cancer, yeah.
Yeah.
She passed.
and we didn't know what to do with the channel because we were almost to 1,000 subscribers. We already had a logo made up.
Right. We
And
had some gear, some merchandises. My kids call it the merch.
yep.
And we decided to leave it. It's her legacy.
Yeah. And so I know it's confusing to people who find us, and they're like, he's named Patrick, she's named Patty. The dogs are trimming about who
Sometimes
is
I think
the...
my name was Delaney or
Yeah.
our last name was Delaney. Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we
Yeah.
have, unfortunately, we lost Delaney, but we've kept the name
Yep.
to honor her, and she travels with us
Yep.
all the time.
She does.
So, well, Patty, this has been another fun episode, at least for us. I don't know for
So it's
anybody
like
listening.
memory lane, I got all these visuals because that first trip was to Colorado. And I can just remember sitting there with Delaney because we get huckleberry ice cream
Yeah.
down at the little, they had a little gift shop or an area to get something we were at the Grand Tetons and all that area. So we'd sit there and her and I'd share some huckleberry ice cream.
We might have to go watch some of those original videos, even though they pain us because we're so robotic and
Yeah.
but you know what? Like anything, you get better with practice, and hopefully we've gotten a little bit better in 5.5 years.
Right.
Thank you, Jim, as always, for producing this show, making us sound great, and we hope all of you have enjoyed it. And until next time, we'll see ya.
On down the road.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.